Hello, everyone. This is Darcenovia. I am back once again, and I'm r- bringing back Fantifa. But before I do anything, before I get to the meat of this video, I got to give a shout out to Corporal Cat, who's in the hospital. May, sorry, I'm a little. I know what's going on with Corporal Cat. They have health problems, and I do not. Corporal Cat, I hope you're okay. If you're watching this, I hope you're okay. I don't know what my beliefs are spiritually, but if I were to pray, I pray for your well-being. And those of you who are religious who are watching this, make sure you do the same thing. Ewoks Unhinged is what Fantifa was. And Corporal Cat was that audience, the children, one of the children that watched the show. Now, some of you who are watching this will probably wonder, what the hell is Ewoks Unhinged? What is it exactly? Ewoks Unhinged catered. Well, I'm not gonna say catered because that's derogatory. The audience was people like Corporal Cat, who was part of a very small minority of Jewish queer people. Which, yeah, Jewish queers exist, and their lives matter. Corporal Cat, they. Sorry, correct myself. They're, they, the Corporal Cat live matters. People like them. I'm sorry. I fucked up. I'm sorry. I've been shaking up lately. Fantifa, Ewoks Unhinged. Why does it matter? Why does it matter that I even do such a thing? First, before I explain why, I gotta explain for those who weren't there in 2020, who weren't there when Ewoks Unhinged, which now goes by Dialectics Unhinged. Thank you, Be Liberal, for actually letting Ewoks Unhinged rest in peace, finally. What made it popular? What are the origins of Ewoks Unhinged, which eventually became Fantifa? I'm just gonna I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Ewoks Unhinged started in 2019, and it wasn't that serious of a podcast. It was more shit posting more than anything else. Me and B level trolling reactionaries in the Star Wars fandom, and the whole point of that was to do a more political spin on things when we talked about entertainment. That was Ewoks Unhinged. That was us freeing ourselves from the restrictions that we felt that were placed on us by the people that we were working with at the time. Because they didn't like the fact that we talked about politics too much when we talked about Star Wars. And we felt constrained. So Ewoks Unhinged was created as an alternative so we could actually have the freedom to discuss these things without alienating the people we're working with. Mind you, this is the reason Ewoks Unhinged existed in the first place. And yeah, the audience that watched it before sliced bread, they were Star Wars fans. They were those who were disenfranchised from the Phantom Menace, and the Phantom Menace is relevant here because that they would not. Sorry, Ewoks Unhinged would not exist without the Phantom Menace. In fact, the Phantom Menace, you could argue, is the reason it existed originally. It was a response to the increasing fascistic rhetoric that was being thrown out there by the Phantom Menace. Now, B Level, we know now he was never really genuine, but back then, that is what Ewoks Unhinged was. Yeah, it changed, to after sliced bread, which for the better, I will say, which became like something different, where we talked about more important issues, like stuff that happens, like with George Floyd, the stuff that happens on the ground, all the riots that happened. Derek Chauvin. That's the first audience, the original audience were Star Wars fans that we're tired of listening to the bullshit in the Phantom Menace, and we're tired of the libs and the who did nothing but lip service when it came to opposing them. They didn't really do anything that really opposed them in any genuine way. They were just as reactionary and racist as the Phantom Menace. I mean, years ago on the War on Nerds, you could find this video. Major Lee's video didn't really do anything to criticize the Phantom Menace. It was just one racist thing after another and sexist. So it really wasn't any different from what the Phantom Menace got. So when Sliced Bread happened, which is when Ewoks Unhinged was put on the map, B-Level and myself wouldn't be where we were if it weren't for that video. Now, anyone who has watched me who in the past few years probably has never heard of the video Sliced Bread. Sliced Bread was really, it was probably one of the best videos I've ever done. And you can never find that video now because B-Level, being the bitch that he is, every time he has a falling out with somebody, he gets rid of anything that they were involved in, even if it's content that actually was of high quality or gave him a lot of views. Yeah, B-Level is like that. He's a little bitch boy. Jason Onru was one of the first people to endorse Ewoks Unhinged. Same thing with Danky Kang. We collaborate with all these people. And those who watched Ewoks Unhinged were part of Jason's audience, Danky's audience. Like, we had a decent following. And most important of all, those who don't have a voice at all, those who don't have a platform at all. And what do they all have in common? Even with the first audience of Ewoks Unhinged, they were Star Wars fans. Star Wars fans that just saw a bunch of political actors who weren't afraid to be Star Wars fans. Well, B-Level, I don't think ever was, if I have to be real. Talk about Star Wars and talk about politics. I mean, my fucking God, I had B-Level had a Ewoks avatar and I had a Wookiee avatar. And it was fucking ridiculous, the very concept, but it was awesome. Yeah, I am feeling nostalgic for that era because we were using imagery from Star Wars to talk about leftism. And we didn't see that at all. Ewoks Unhinged was the shit. It was unique amongst Star Wars fans. It was unique. Yet it spoke heavily to people. People like Corporal Cat. There was people that literally had their entire families watch us. We were no Jason Unruh when it came to view count or Caleb Maupin, but it doesn't change the fact that Ewoks Unhinged attracted people of lumpen backgrounds. There was people in squatter houses that watched Ewoks Unhinged. They have like one fucking phone and they freaking watch the show. Now, this is stuff I've been told by a friend of mine who actually knows some of these people. Ewoks Unhinged meant something to people. And that's why B-Level's betrayal hit so hard. Because the channel stood for something. It talks about important issues. When Noah Krashtovic took over as his co-host, when I was gradually, phased out, it became less about talking about important issues, talking about things that matter, or occasionally doing a video just for fun. It's disgusting what the channel has become. It really is. But I remember what it once stood for. Yes, he is a snake, but I have to give context to people that don't know what Ewoks Unhinged was, what it meant to people. No, this is not me trying to bring back Ewoks Unhinged. That what's said and done. Fantifa, though, that can still exist. In fact, the Fantifa existed even during the height of Ewoks Unhinged, even during its humble beginnings. It existed, and it wasn't a communist or even a leftist that coined the term Fantifa. For those of you who want to know the origins of the name, me and B-Level, when Joker was new, yeah, God, I feel old just thinking about that. We went on a stream with Mad Max. We talked about Joker, and I just made a little joke of how woke it was. And then he mentioned the name Fantifa, and it was Mad Max that coined the word Fantifa, not me and not B-Level. I will not take credit. If anybody deserves credit for Fantifa, the name existing, it's Mad Max. Oh yeah, Noah Krasnovic is a piece of shit. But I have to just to give context for why the name exists in the first place. The whole goal of Fantifa is not to go back to what Ewoks Unhinged was. No, it's to go beyond Ewoks Unhinged. What Ewoks Unhinged should have been in the first place. It should have gone beyond. Fantifa was something that should have existed sooner. Fantifa is something that is needed. Because for me, who else is going to talk about like entertainment from a left-wing lens? Majority of the people that exist it's lib stuff. There isn't enough people, especially communists. Communists don't actually pay attention to how important entertainment is to the masses, to actually talk about it, to actually expose certain aspects of entertainment, or even argue the merits behind whether it's good or bad or not. Entertainment's my bread and butter. And there's been demand to bring Fantifa back, to actually resurrect it from the dead. But I'm not going to resurrect it. I'm going to make it better than it was before. I'm going to change Fantifa to be what Ewoks Unhinged should have become in the first place. Not this echo chamber of a bunch of white people or identity opportunists or people that use their identity to shield their reactionary bullshit. No. That's not what Fantifa is about. Fantifa is resisting fascism. And entertainment will not be the only thing Fantifa talks about. We'll talk about entertainment, of course, because Fantifa is my bread and I'm scatterbrained right now. My bread and butter is entertainment, but there's a time and place for it. And when there's serious issues to talk about, like what's going on and Cop City, Fantifa's gonna be on top of that. When there's something happening in Orange County, my local area where I live, Fantifa's gonna be on top of that. If there's something that's happening in Canada, it's with my co-host Maxwell Glover, we're gonna be on top of that. The whole point is to continue where Ewoks Unhinged left off, but be better than Ewoks Unhinged ever was. It's not going to be the same. No, it's never going to happen because we can't replicate those early podcasts. It's impossible. But I don't promise that. I promise to be better. And another thing I want to do, which Ewoks Unhinged, I wanted it to do this myself. I want to make this podcast less white. Because if I have to be honest with you, Ewoks Unhinged is white as fuck. It really is. It's so fucking white. And I'm talking about the Ewoks Unhinged that before I left. Because to me, Ewoks Unhinged after I left was not Ewoks Unhinged. It was just a zombie. It was just Ewoks Unhinged's name only. I want to platform people who are the voiceless. If they're comfortable being on. I want to platform black people. I want to platform women. I want to platform black trans men and trans women. That's what I want. That's what I want to do. I want to take this thing to another level. I want to make it so eventually Fantifa, the network, will not need me to run it. That is my goal. Because as it stands now, I'm needed for this network because it has to start somewhere. Someone has to start it, and that person has to be me. Because if I don't do it, who's going to do it? It's not anyone but mine's responsibility to start this network. Now, I can't promise I'll do what my goals are overnight because that's difficult. The people that are going to help me build this is you, the audience, those who are watching me. Everyone who's watching me, including those who are in, like, wherever you are. If you're in a place somewhere, you have a phone and a bunch of people are watching you, know this, that anyone that watches Fantifa is Fantifa. And if you are a supporter of mine, you are Fantifa. I'm not Fantifa by myself. No, everyone who's against fascism, those who hate fascism, is fighting for socialism, anarchism, communism, whatever you're fighting for, you are Fantifa. Every one of you is Fantifa. I don't own that label. And Fantifa needs to expand. Fantifa should have been resurrected sooner. And if there's anything I will say that will criticize myself is I broke a promise. I really did. I let the people who watched Ewoks Unhinged when I was on it down. And I deserve criticism for it. I deserve to have shit for it. And I want to be better. I want this channel to be better. I want Fantifa to be better. But I can't do that without your help because the audience is what makes this show, not the host. No. When Ewoks Unhinged existed, it was not me. It was not B level. Hell, it's not. I wouldn't even say it's even Jason or even Danky that made the show what it was. It was you, the audience, those who are watching me, those who are no longer with us, like Kelly 7. For those of you who don't know who Kelly 7 was, she went by They Are Watching Me. That's the YouTube name she went by when she watched Ewoks Unhinged. Though you can't find that anymore because B-Level, the snake, removed everything that involved me and everyone that he had a falling out with. You are the people that make this show what it was. It is, and hell, it made Ewoks Unhinged what it was. Without the people that support me, I'm nothing without you. And that is the absolute truth. I'm nobody special. I'm just a guy with a mic. There's issues I may not always get right, and I may have to be corrected. I'm willing to learn. This is not the grand return that some would want. I guess you could consider the return of Fantifa to be the video where I ripped B-Level a new one, which was last night. Which that stream came out of the blue because of what happened with Dr. Abraham Weisfeld, which, by the way, do not ignore Dr. Abraham Weisfeld. Do not ignore what's going on in Canada. And I don't know what's going on in Canada. I have no idea what's going on in there. that's something that Jason Unruh is most likely going to talk about, because I cannot discuss anything that's Canadian politics. Canadian politics is alien to me. I can only talk about what's going on in America, what's going on in my home state, California, what's going on in Arizona. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I really won't lie to you. Things are going to be more difficult from now on, because my video output's not going to be as high, because there's another thing I've been neglecting. I've been researching. I have a lot I have to read, and I haven't read enough, so I may not be as active. But there are some great videos that I'm planning to do in the future on Fantifa. Great ideas that I won't spoil them now, because, well, I don't want to, spoil everything. Though I will tell you the first topic that I'm going to talk about on Fantifa with Maxwell Glover is escapism. I won't say anything more, but let's just say I'm going to argue the positive forms of escapism and negative. So it isn't just cut and dry. It's like, no, escapism bad. That is not what the video is going to be about. There's other things I like to talk about too, though that's going to be when I have more people, such as the toxicity of social media and how that affects people's psychological and mental health. There's also, speaking of social media, actually, as someone that has access to the internet on an almost regular basis, who cares about fighting for a better world, I'm subjected to the people on the ground. They are the ones that give the orders to me. They are the ones that tell me what to do. And anyone that claims to want to represent the people, to fight for the people, you answer to the people. You answer to the voiceless. At least I think, for me, my principles, I answer to the voiceless. They are the people I answer to. I do not answer to terminally online LARPers, because I'm done being part of a cult. I've been part of way too many cults, and I refuse to be part of another one. I will answer to them, because the people on the ground, they are the reason Ewoks Unhinged became what it was. It wasn't the people who were terminally online, because let's be real with ourselves. The biggest fans of Ewoks Unhinged, they were in the streets. They were homeless trans kids. They were black people. Lumpen proletarians. They were the biggest fans of Ewoks Unhinged. They are the people I let down. And the whole reason I want to bring back Fantifa, because they deserve something. They deserve a voice. They deserve someone to at least give them a platform when they have the ability to have a platform. And the pink purple girl, I don't know if she's listening to this. If she's ever able to come on, I will always welcome her on Fantifa. And I will appeal to her schedule. That's how much I'm willing to work with people who don't have a platform. Social media is a nightmare. As someone that's been trying to do things on social media for the past 3 years now, it is a literal nightmare to actually do any sort of organizing or get anything done. And I would rather get people on the streets who actually don't have a voice on my show, get them a chance to tell them their own stories, their way, on their terms. I let them speak so they have a chance to speak for themselves. That is what I would like to do. That is what I want. Because I'm not doing this for myself. If I care about internet clout, if I care about any of this shit, I'd be still be in that dumpster fire of a show that is dialectics unhinged. That's where I'd be at if I really cared about doing what's popular. I fucking don't give a shit about that. I care about doing what's right. And if there's some times where I may not speak very much because on a stream because these people have a limited amount of time they can speak, that's okay with me because Fantifa isn't just my show. I'm the host of it, yes, and Maxwell Glover, when he's available, he'll be the co-host, but it's not our show. No, it's your show. Those who are watching it, the audience, it's your show. Those who originally supported Ewoks Unhinged, it is your show, not mine. And I will criticize myself for not bringing back Fantifa. It should always exist in some form. Now, I can't be the only one that does it indefinitely. I can't. But right now, as they say, Rome was not built in a day. And Fantifa, it needs to be built. The building blocks for it need to be there already. So eventually, when I'm no longer needed to do the hosting for Fantifa, I'll give the keys to someone who I think is a worthy successor. But I'm way off because I'm just getting started building this. I know some of those who are watching it may not care about Ewoks Unhinged. I get it. But to me, it mattered. Because as those kids were dying in 2020, Ewoks Unhinged betrayed those kids. Those kids, one of their main source of comfort was Ewoks Unhinged. Thinking that someone online gives a shit about them. I can't help but think about what were their final thoughts as they died, as B-Level betrayed them, as I, in my complacency, betrayed them in a way. Because I wasn't hard enough. The day my mother died, when I came out as a third worldist, my biggest mistake I've ever made was not sticking to my instincts and basically cutting things off from B-Level right then and there. Yes, I will say that. It was a mistake. It was a mistake to try to still be on friendly terms with B-Level. Because I was complacent. Yes, I get emotional when I talk about this shit. I really do, because it fucks me up thinking about it. Dead children. I felt like being on friendly terms with B-Level after what almost was the first falling out. That I felt like I betrayed them. That bastard, as he was plotting to basically have me harassed and slandered by people that didn't actually know what happened. Now, by the way, I'm not mad at Broden, Chris, or Mac. I'm not mad at them because B-Level lied to them. So I'm not going to hold that against them. I'm not going to hold that against them because, they did not know. It doesn't change the fact that me being friendly to B-Level after that was a mistake. I didn't want to believe B-Level betrayed me. But he did. He truly did. But forget me. This is not about me. It really is not about me. Hell, this whole shit's not even about B-Level. It's about the children. People like Kelly 7. She took her life. And as that happened, Ewoks Unhinged was becoming fascist. Right as this was happening. It went from a channel for the people, for a catering to only fascistic and anti-Semitic type people. It doesn't cater to anyone anymore besides those types. A lot has changed since 2020. A lot has changed since Ewoks Unhinged truly died. I'm referring to the last podcast I did, the only one I did that's solo. You can find it on my main YouTube channel. You could find it, the only video that survived the purge. Had I known B-Level would have done the stuff he did, I would have downloaded videos like Sliced Bread and videos where Kelly 7 was featured in, so people would know that she existed. But because of B-Level, because he deleted those videos or unlisted them, it doesn't fucking matter. It's at this point what he did. It's almost as if she never existed. That is what irks me. I should have never caved when it came to going after B-Level. I should have. MRN should have fucking kept its promise when it came to going after B-Level, to denouncing B-Level. Yes, I've been talking about B-Level a lot, but you cannot talk about Fantifa and ewoks unhinged without bringing up B-Level, because B-Level is a huge reason why Fantifa exists in the first place, as it is, because of B-Level. The whole reason I'm doing this isn't because of B-Level. It is because of that narcissistic fucking child. It has everything to do with those kids that died or felt betrayed. I'm sorry for those who are gone, but those who are still around, those who are older now, probably angry at me, and I don't blame you for being angry at me. I deserve it. I'm sorry. There's nothing I say that will change what happened. But I am sorry. Before, sliced bread, I was just a guy. I was just an angry little Star Wars fan trolling people. That's exactly what it was. I did not realize just how much bigger I was. I had to be told this. Now, I'm saying this because it's important for people to know that I didn't think I was that important. And you know what? That's a problem within itself. I downplayed how important the stuff I did for people, that I'm still doing for people. Downplaying my own self-esteem, basically downplaying anything that I've done or am doing in order to prop up other people. That has to stop. That has to end. Because I was taken advantage of by people like B-Level, who knew how passionate I was about these sort of things, who knew I was passionate about Star Wars, who knew how much I fucking hated Nazis. He took full advantage of this shit. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised that B-Level thoroughly examined me psychologically, and that's how he was able to manipulate me and be able to, in some ways, control me when I didn't even know it. Now, I have no proof that he did this, but I'm just saying, based on my experience, I constantly downplayed myself. So, because I didn't think I was worth anything compared to B-Level. This, of course, B-Level wasn't the only person I did that with. And as a result, you could look at my videos where my confidence was fucking down the shit. And I'm ashamed of myself that my confidence was as low as it was. I'm ashamed of myself because these kids who watch me, they don't need to watch a weak fucking man. They don't need to watch this. They don't need to watch someone who's fucking weak and pathetic. No, they need someone that's strong. And I'm not, okay, before anyone take this out of context that I'm just pushing toxic masculinity. No. I'm referring strong as in strength of character. Those who have strong convictions. That's what I mean by, weak. When I called myself Cuxenovia, I meant because how much I plagued myself to people, how much I downplayed myself, how I didn't insert myself. That is what I'm referring to when it comes to being a cuck, of me being weak. The Darth Sinovia that terrorized Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers. That is the Darth Sinovia the people that watch me should watch, not the pathetic, complacent, low self-esteem Darth Sinovia that has been prevalent since 2021. That is not the Darth Sinovia that should exist or needs to exist for Fantifa. People need strong heroes. People need people to look up to so they know that, you know what? The world's full of assholes. The internet is a scary place, but there are people out there that care. And it's very difficult to find these kind of people. It's very hard. Doing the right thing is never easy. And that is where Ewoks Unhinged's principles were compromised before I left. It wasn't doing the right thing. It made promises, just like MRN matter. Make promises and don't keep them. It's dishonorable. I know people, the former MRN network for not keeping its promises, but this applies to me too. I didn't do it either. So I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standard. I didn't keep my promises, and that makes me guilty as well. I'm not going to make a promise just so I'll break it. So I'm not going to do that. I will not do that because that is not what I am. I'm just criticizing myself because Fantifa, another thing that it stands for is self-criticism. Ewoks Unhinged never did that. That fucking shit changes here and now. Fantifa, every person who co-hosts with me is required to do self-criticism if they fuck up. Everyone is exempt. In fact, I'm probably going to be the most critical of myself. I mean, I've been criticizing myself a lot lately. There's legit self-criticism, which is what I'm doing, and then there's self-criticism to appease people. They're not the same thing. I really would like to actually do something. Fascism is on the rise. There's just no denying that. There's no denying that the fascists are organizing right now as I fucking speak. We need something to counter it in some way. Yes, entertainment at the end of the day may not mean anything to some people, but it is the opium of the masses. It's important that reactionaries don't have a monopoly on entertainment. It's important that libs also don't have a monopoly. We need more leftists. We need more communists to talk about entertainment. Like, there's an argument that can be made that Legend of Korra is fascist propaganda. That needs to be fucking known. That show needs to be analyzed and explain why the show is fascist. We need to actually be able to have that conversation. We should be able to forward the conversation even more about the fascism that's been pushed in Marvel movies, how it made fascism mainstream. We need to have the conversation of, can the art be separated from the artist? And I know I said in the past it can't. Well, I want a nuanced conversation so we could actually have the other side of the conversation that yes, you could. Because at the end of the day, art is expression of humanity, and it's going to outlive all of us. The days of reductionist takes on entertainment are over. And I'm speaking for myself. A lot of my takes on entertainment from 2021 up until now have been reductionist as fuck. Like, I mean, I said some really cringy shit. Calling Naruto fascist, which it really is not. Or calling anything that doesn't 100% agree with my ideology as fascist, like, that's just stupid. Because if I'm going to call everything fascist, then the word fascist has no meaning. No, I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to be reductionist about my takes. I'm going to analyze these works of art as they are, talk about them as they are, and if they are fascist and what they're pushing, then we fucking say it as such. None of this reductionist shit anymore. And if you haven't read any of these literature or watched any of these shows or movies, then and as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to take the fucking stance that Mao Zedong has when it comes to investigating you know nothing about. No investigation, no right to speak. That is the fucking stance that fucking Fantifa is going to enforce. If you haven't investigated something, and I haven't investigated anything, I'm going to shut the fuck up and investigate it thoroughly first. No more of this reductionist bullshit, because I've been doing that for too fucking long. I've gone against who I am for too fucking long. That is what made me weak, by not being true to myself. Those people who are not true to themselves are fucking weak people. And I refuse to be that. If I'm going to be a role model for somebody, I want to be a positive one. Because in this era, we have no positive role models to look up to. The kids who are alive now, Gen Z, they need positive role models. I can just tell you that much. My generation had nothing but shit role models. What role models did we have? Boomers? Reactionary Gen Xers? That's all we had. We didn't have really good role models. Our role models fucking suck. To look at positive role models, we have to look at people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, people like that. They are what I would call a good role model. But again, I'm white, and honestly, they're from a different generation. They're not from either the boomers or the Gen Xers. And as someone that's part of the millennial generation, I'm 35 now. 10 years ago, people my age were considered old, in my opinion. And now I'm where the young people are at now. Young people are watching me right now. Whatever I do, whatever I say, I'm going to have an impact on someone. And I don't want it to be for anything negative. I have power. Even though I didn't really want to acknowledge it up until this point. I didn't want to accept it up until this point. But I do have power. My words. I could someday do what Jason once did for me and have a influence on someone's life for the better. I can change someone's life. In fact, I could probably save somebody's life. In fact, I probably already have done that. I will not fucking downplay my influence anymore. I refuse to do that, because not only does downplaying what I do insult me, but it insults the people that are inspired by me. My low confidence up until this point is not just insulting me. It's insulting those who looked up to me, who still look up to me. It's like, no. Just no. Yes, you could argue that this is more of a speech than anything else, this stream. I don't care. Because what matters for Fantifa is to talk about things that matter to me, and talk about things that matter to those who don't have a platform at all. This show isn't mine. It's your show. And that is what I want to get across. I'm not going to do what B-Level fucking did, that opportunist piece of shit, and just jump on every bandwagon, because that's essentially what dialectics unhinged. Yeah, you know what? Let's have a moment of silence for the real Ewoks Unhinged. Okay, that done. People like Corporal Cat. They watch my show, and they watched Ewoks Unhinged. They are queer, and they're Jewish, and I'm just checking my facts just to make sure I don't get anything wrong. Like, she's anarcho-Bundist. Now, I don't know enough about it, but I'll say this. Anarcho-Buddhism matters. Anarcho-Buddhism, Maoism Buddhism also matters, but I don't know enough about that because I haven't spoken to a black Jew about any of this. So I can't talk about it in depth, but Maoist Buddhism matters. The person that made me the man I am today, besides Jason, I won't mention his name. He changed my perspective on many things: religion, communism, socialism, anarchism, even. I got insight from him and multiple other people. The people who are on the ground, they're real. Anyone that denies what happened in Arizona, to me, is not someone I want to affiliate with. As of this recording, I don't know anything else that's going on with Dr. Abraham Weisfeld. He's in prison, or I'm sorry, jail. I don't know. Sorry, I misspoke. And it's important that people spread the word about him. Doing what I'm doing, it's because it matters. Everyone, I've said this already, but I'm sorry for failing you all. You deserve nothing more. I'm sorry. But I don't think you want to hear my apologies, though. Because if I apologize too many times, that's going to come off as being weak, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to be better from now on. That. If there's one thing I will promise is to be better. I will be accountable to you. Those who are terminally online, I don't give a fuck what you think. Personally, I don't give a fuck. I will take the words of those who are on the street over you any fucking day, because they're the ones that are doing practice. They're the ones that are actually organizing. They're the ones that are actually risking their lives. They are the people that I want to fucking bring on. Not saying that those who don't do what I'm doing cannot come on, but you have to support those who are on the street. Their struggle matters first. Third world people's struggles matter. Fourth people's struggles matter. Black people's struggles matter. Now, there's a lot that I could still say, but there's, again, my brain is running at 1,000 miles an hour right now. And most important of all, I will not forget those victims of Midnight Productions. Anyone that claims they don't exist, as far as I'm concerned, is an opportunist. Opportunism is not something I will fucking tolerate. I'm not a perfect person. I don't claim to be, and don't pretend to be. And I understand that. I'm just speaking what's on my mind. And I'm doing what other people have been wanting me to do for a long time. And one YouTuber of mine, I don't think he's watching this, but if he is, Max Panther, probably my oldest fan, you could argue, my first fan, one thing, what he said that stands out for me is, Darth Sinovia, you're the realest person on here. That is what is needed here. We need real people that do these kind of videos. None of these fake ass fucking motherfuckers that, like B-level, who have this snobby fucking voice, or people that do other things. I'm trying to, keep things, as unpersonal as possible. Sorry. We need real people. Fantifa is the attempt to make things seem more real, to make it so people could feel comfortable watching me. I won't always get it right, as you all know, but I'm trying. And if I do something wrong, I will correct myself to the best of my ability. I'm holding myself accountable, not only to myself, but to every one of you who are watching. This is your show, not my show. And my voice is, I feel like my voice is actually, I'm actually starting to lose my voice. One last thing I will say. This is your show. Fantifa is back. Down with B-level. Denounce B-level.